board. So, your inner state's how you feel about everything, okay? And we've given some examples of how you can feel different ways about your environment, about your activity, and about your nutrition, and how that obviously has an effect, okay? A bad meal can be worse, okay, with a bad inner state about it. You got some crap food you really don't want to eat? Well, I mean, if you sit there and mull over it and, you know, get yourself all bent out of shape about it, I guarantee you that meal's going to go down and integrate a lot worse than it would have, okay? So, I don't have a graphic for this, okay? So you and Twitch are just going to deal with the board like the people on Facebook, okay? I'm assuming there are people on Facebook because I can't actually see the viewer count with the way that this is. Which actually, you know, let's see if we can adjust that because that's coming up. And let's raise that up a little bit. No. We're going to need... Bear with me, folks. Be right back with you. Let it adjust. Maybe I could do this because that's keeping that pretty well. There we go. No, we don't want it maximized. We want it over there, just out of the way, so it can show us the stats. Okay? Make sure that we're doing all right. Oh, good Lord bless it. All right, we're going to get this. We're going to get this through the power of friendship or something. All right, and by the way, I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. I've got 10 people on Twitch, and let's find out how many. I got 3 people on Facebook, so that's just fine. That's great. That's 13 people who felt like listening to me talk about some random crap tonight. So I really appreciate you being here. All right, let me shrink that down. Let's see, what does this say? Oh, okay, gotcha. Somebody was telling me they weren't chatting, but they were listening, so that's sweet of y'all. Okay. All right, so we're back. All right. So we're going to talk about some inner states, okay? And what these do, okay? Now, we as humans, with our frontal lobe and everything that gives us self-reflection and all these wonderful little doodads we have, allow us to interact with our world in different ways from the rest of the planet. Our bodies are still the same as our evolutionary counterparts, okay? So when we see somebody who gives us a scowl from across the room, you know, it's just like mean mugging us across the way, and we go, oh shoot, like, what did I do to that guy or whatever, you know, and you sit there and you start getting afraid. You know, usually we go straight to fear, like, what is he doing, you know? And you start getting scared, you know, that initiates what we call a fight or flight response, okay? So, let's see. I don't feel like writing that up there right now because I want to talk about it for a second. So, that's going to initiate a fight or flight response. Now, is the YouTube? Okay, it is. Man, I'm really lagging on Facebook. Let's see. Oh... I think we're having issues on Facebook, it looks like. Let me refresh my page here. See if that does anything. Bear with me. Okay, good. That's a little more up to date. Let's see what this chat is saying down here. Oh, goodness. I've got quite a few chats. I'm sorry. I'll catch up with chat real quick. Bring that up. Okay, cool. Let's see. What we got? I'm sorry on here. Had a phone call. No worries. All right. Everything's fine. Okay. Thank you, Brandon, on Facebook. I think inner state is easily Easy normally when all the other conditions are met well. It's when the environment is more hostile or the nutrition is more difficult to come to or when activity grows stale that the interstate is rough to keep healthy. Yes, it definitely takes, a balance of these, okay? And there's 3 that we can use very actively, okay? 1 second, let me hit that so that's playing and I'm keeping... Okay, there we go. All right. So let's talk about that for a second. Okay, so keeping... Oh, and sorry. Is it weird to notice them because I'm too self-involved? But that describes how those 3 might affect inner feelings to me. Okay. All right. So cool. Thank you for the questions. Let's see how we can address this. Interstate seems to be the interplay of all of these. It is definitely our stage in this, okay? Because it's something that we have differently from the rest of life, okay? The rest of life, it's really tied into the thing. Like we said, fight or flight. An animal sees a predator or sees a predator and goes into fight or flight, okay? They're either going to have the energy sent to them to attack the thing or the energy sent to them to run away, okay? Even freeze is just sitting there harnessing it because a rabbit will freeze, but it's waiting. It's like concentrated energy, and as soon as it seems it needs to run, it will bolt, okay? Well, our bodies are still wired that way. Our bodies will still react that way, okay, when we tell it that we're in danger, okay? And so one thing with these ideas, okay, let's pause that for a second because that comment from Elk, which by the way, thank you for that, pointed out I wish I still had it up here. So in the past it was said that one couldn't do the necessary work of self-observation and other things unless those 3, the environment, the activity, and the nutrition, were at an optimal level. Basically, you weren't having to worry about where you ate, what you did, your home life, and so people who had stability of some sort were able to then turn to more intellectual things, okay? And that, you look at like the Enlightenment era and other things like that, the people who were talking about those things weren't hurting for money, for nutrition, and they didn't have to worry about where they were sleeping. Now, there were some, I'm not saying all, blanket statement, but it seems to be easier to work with the inner state when those other 3 are at some way balanced, okay? And so that's kind of the idea of, I believe it's a Taoist thing, maybe it's Confucius, it said, be a king in the world and a monk in the mind. And that meant take care of your business in the world, okay? So working about your nutrition, about your activity, and your environment would be the idea of being a king in the world, like taking care of business, doing what you need to do, making sure you're safe and protected and well-fed and all of that. But the monk in your mind would be the inner state, okay? And I know I'm tapping at this blank board for those of you who just joined in. I know that it's blank. It wasn't. You tuned in late, so you'll have to come back later to see what it was. Anyway, so yes, we're talking about this inner state. It's relevant, and you can do it even when these are out of flux, okay? But those are the easier ones, more obvious ones to address, okay? So let me come back over here. Sam here. Are we drawing a distinction between inner state, a mode of being, and inner feeling, something temporary and often rely on external inputs? Yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. Good questions. Thank you. Okay, so the inner state is your mood, okay, your state of being. And like you said, feelings are fleeting. The feeling of happiness is something that you have until something else happens, okay? You're non-disturbed for a little bit. Like, you come home and you sit down and you got your big Taco Bell box and you start getting your TV going and everything, and you take a couple bites and you're just like in hog heaven. You're just like, this is great. I got my food, got my shows, got my feet propped up after a hard day of work, and then suddenly you realize, oh God, I didn't get a drink. Okay. and you got to get up again. Well, you were in happiness and bliss and non-disturbance for just a few moments, and then suddenly something disturbed you, and you had to get up, and oh God, I don't want to get up. I got to put everything aside, pause my movie. This is so laborious. And you move on to the next thing. You go get the thing, you come back, you sit down, oh, you're happy again. And you get your thing played, and somebody calls you, and you're like, and it's not one you can ignore, and you're just like, man, I just want to have some me time, have some happiness, non-disturbance. You know, yes, it's fleeting. It comes and it goes, okay? People go through flashes of anger. They go through flashes of fear, okay? But there is a state of being. Okay, one second. Kyrune just said something. I want to talk about the idea of mental fortitude, as there has been research done on high-performing individuals, and the way they are able to perform so high tends to be off of keeping personal rituals when able, and that allows them to be flexible in many ways that most will not be. Okay, let's put a pin in that, because basically what I'm going to lay out for you are, and we'll talk about at the end, are some little rituals, some little things that you could do to maybe remind yourself of your intentions and things like that. So I like that. So we go through these feelings, and they're pretty fleeting. They come and go, okay? And some of them hang around in the background, okay? Fears, unless they are alleviated, unless you have okay, never mind, that's not that important, that's not what's going on. If you don't have one of those moments that takes that fear away, trust me, that fear is still nagging in the back of your mind. Like we were talking earlier about, when you're going to sleep and you have all these things that pop up into the mind and wake you up and remind you, oh yeah, you remember that thing you did back in high school? Yeah, that was really dumb. Shouldn't you feel stupid about that? Shouldn't you feel guilty? Or man, do you remember what that, chick did to you 2 years ago? Like, you should still be angry about that. That was her fault. So these things will stay in the mind, and they generate tension. They generate anxiety, okay? Because you have all of these different feelings that are going on in the background, so to speak, okay? One new thing, routine is helpful, but I'm bad at it. Yep, yeah, it's difficult to ingrain those new habits, to condition yourself differently, to form better things, but it takes time, and you'll get there when you get there, and if you don't, well, good effort. So